Okay, so I kind of just lost my stream there. My app just crashed. So excuse me while I readdressed everything, and you just got a beautiful, beautiful picture of my living room, or my downstairs living room. As I was saying before my app crashed, I'm just going to open up the chat. Hi, Shay. Thank you for being a moderator. And then I'm going to do the whole complicated process of tweeting this out. I know. I do this every single time. You think I'd have like a smooth method for it now? No. I'm kind of just all over the place, but it's fine. Okay. And there. Okay. I don't know why I decided to go back to this picture. This one is in Fantomorphia. Oh my gosh, why can't I talk today? This one is in Fantomorphia by Kerby Rosanes. I just had a strong desire to get back to this picture, and what I really want to do is the skull part of this image. And for that, I was going to lay down a base of Copic and then probably come back with my Polychromos. Now, I have never done this technique before. This is new for me. I mean, I use my Copic all the time. I'm not so good at the colored pencils yet. I'm still learning that, but I figured today would be a perfect day to explore how good or not good I am with using colored pencils. Does that sound good to everybody? So I've got all of my cool tone Copics. And then I've got a couple of cool tone Polychromos. So I've got, let's see, we've got C5, C7, C2, C3, C0, and C00. So this is not in the right order. I kind of just grabbed them. That's fine. And then I've got Cool Gray 5 in the Polychromos. What is this one? This one is Cool Gray 2. I've got black, and then I've got Payne's Gray in the Polychromos. So yeah, I'm just kind of just gonna jump right into it. I don't think I'm gonna use every single one of these cool tones. That would be a bit ridiculous. I'm probably not even gonna use these lighter two because they're going to be so light. Probably gonna start with a C2 and just lay down a base of that and then slowly build up the shadows. We'll see how that goes. I don't know how this paper is going to deal with the alcohol ink, but why not? I have no rhyme or reason to anything I'm doing today, as per usual. Such is my life. I kind of just go. So I'm starting out with the C2. We're just gonna see how, I don't know even where I want to start. We'll probably start with the teeth because those are such a small area that I feel if things start to go wrong, I can back up quickly from that. So I'm just gonna, this is where I'm gonna test what I'm doing. So I'm not gonna do the whole skull all at once. I'm gonna start with this. So that is the C2. I'll probably, I don't know if I want to, I'll probably just do C2, C3, C5, and then if I've got really dark areas, then I'll bring out the C7. But I think these are the three that I'm going to stick with for now, possibly. So this is the C3, and I'm just going to follow kind of where Kerby has already set up a lot of his shading by doing his hashes. So I'm going to follow that first and maybe expand out from here. So how has everybody's week been so far? Oh, married life. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like having a super roommate, I guess. Because of, you know, you share everything. It's kind of like a roommate, but it's more than a roommate. I don't even know how to explain it. But I'm enjoying it so far. I've got no complaints. I think it's one of those things that I'm probably going to just be feeling out for the rest of my life, which is fine. I'm in for the adventure. Yeah, I'm glad it's Sunday too. Sunday is my one day to just kind of veg, which I'm glad. It's also my day to wear my obnoxious t-shirts because I don't normally get to wear them to work and such. So right now, you can't see it. I have a pink Power Ranger shirt on because I'm kind of awesome like that. You do have a pretty awesome roommate, Shay. Okay, I'm going to come back in with a 3, maybe blend that darker stuff out a little bit more. Maybe add some additional shadows of my own. I really do like working with these markers, mainly because I feel like I can cover so much area so quickly. Which is why I haven't gotten too excited about using colored pencils yet. Okay, and then I'm coming back in with the C2 to like further blend everything out. Okay, yeah, I think I'll stick with those 3 to start with, and then, like I said, if I've got deeper shadows that I want to add in, I'll come back with the C7. About the fact that this is one-sided, so I'm not destroying anything on the back. I've always wanted to use Copic on some of Kerby's detailed illustrations like this. So I'm excited. Okay, I'm gonna do the bottom teeth now. Well, for my hair, what do I want to do for my hair? I think I want to do the one side in the back really, really short. And then have the other side long. I mean, I might stick with the pink for a little while, but I think I want to add more pink back in now that the wedding's over and I don't have to be so conscious about what the pictures are going to look like. So let's settle that with C5. I want to start with C3. So I think I want to bring more color back. Tired of being subtle. But then there's also part of me is like, I haven't had long hair in so long. Maybe I want to grow it out. Maybe. I don't know. Because I was looking back at old photos of myself and I had some pretty long hair for a while. So I'm conflicted right now. I don't know yet. So this paper seems to be doing okay with this ink. Yeah, like I said, I don't know if I want to grow it out or not. I kind of like having short hair because it's less of a hassle, especially in the morning. But I don't know. It's usually one of those things I'm always back and forth until the very last second. When I'm sitting in the chair. That, I'm not 100% sure when I'm going to get to see my stylist again, since she's A, pregnant, and B, living in a different state currently. Okay, I think I'm going to start being brave and put down a base coat of the gray everywhere. Yeah, there's something nice about doing a drastic change. Actually, my stylist, she's been living in a different state for, 2 years now, I think. Is it 2 years? Oh my gosh, 2 years? So it's every time she comes back up here to visit like friends and families, that's when I actually get my hair done, which is why I have to sometimes like really think about how I do it and if it's something that'll grow out well. And I know I can find another stylist. I just, when you find someone that, especially since she was my former roommate, I feel like I know her well enough and she knows me well enough. When you have that someone who knows your hair and your face and what looks good, it's hard to pick up somebody else. You know what I mean? So I haven't made the change into a new stylist yet. So I'm not being very careful on how complete I'm making the coverage with this gray right now, because I know I'm going to be coming back with both of the other grays. I did also want to let everybody who ends up watching this stream know that I have started a Google spreadsheet with streaming information, time, links, and durations for all of the coloring book colorists that I know about. And I would love to add more people to that list. So if you want to be added to that list, just message me through any of my social medias or my email address, and I'll add you to the list. Because I've noticed that there really isn't a master list for people who primarily color in coloring books. I know there's a lot of crafters out there who do all kinds of live streams, but I figured putting together something for coloring book colorists would be a good idea, especially if people want to find us. So I've got that spreadsheet started. I have a video up on my channel about it with the link. I've also got, it's up on Twitter as well, and I'll probably put it in the description of this video after I'm done streaming today, in case you're interested in checking it out. Definitely looks different now that I'm adding that one layer down. Oh, so Shay, you totally understand the woes of having to wait, or having someone who has to wait for the right time to get the hair done. Okay. I'm also trying with the camera. Oh, I'm totally off frame. Trying with the camera a little closer to my coloring page this time around. This is very much a new experience for me. And I'm still trying to figure out how to hold my utensils so you guys can actually see what I'm doing. It's a learning experience when you decide to stream for the first time. Okay, so that's the light. Part of me wonders if I should go through and do the dark and then the medium after that, just to kind of get a little bit of a feel for everything. Ooh, that would be a good idea, Shay. I would love to see a stream of you just like setting up your planner for the month or the week or whatever. I don't know why I find that kind of stuff fascinating, but I do. Come back with this one and kind of smooth these two out. See, the good thing about coming back with the colored pencils afterwards is the fact that I have that light gray that if I really want to add some highlights into here, I'll be able to with that colored pencil. At least that's my hope. Yeah, I have a couple planner channels that I watch as well. I mean, I don't necessarily use the same kind of planners that they do, but it is really helpful in like putting the drive to be organized. I use a bullet journal system. So right now my planner is just a bunch of lists. I use various different colors to make it pretty, but nothing really fancy. Hi, Alicia. I'm so glad you could join. And if you hear random pounding, that is my cats going crazy upstairs right now. Oh my goodness. I don't know what was in their breakfast this morning, but they have so much energy right now. We'll see how long it takes them to realize that I'm down here and decide that they want to be in the middle of everything I'm doing. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, thank you for subscribing. I'm glad. I have noticed that I've got a small jump in subscribers the last couple of days. And I have a feeling that I'm going to have a whole bunch of new channels that I'm going to become addicted to. Oh, you're from Turkey? Never been there. But given my job, I might end up there someday. I have no idea. Oh, I'm sorry, Shay. Yeah, mine was going down. I dropped a whole bunch earlier in the week. So I don't know if there was cleaning or something going on. It's one of those things that you never really know anymore with YouTube. Do those ones. Got some other things that I was going to talk about too. I am hoping to get a decent way through Obsidio. This week, actually today in general, because it's a book that I really, really wanted to read, but for whatever reason, I just haven't gotten to it. So that is my goal. After all of this, is maybe just sit down and binge read. I'll let you know how that goes. Oh, I was gonna let you guys know that I did finish the One Picture and Pick Candle, her coloring book. See if I can pull it out real quick. I think you might enjoy it. Enjoy Illumination. I mean, it's not like extremely classy science fiction. It's very much YA science fiction, but I think it's a fun book series. Okay, so yes, I finished the page in this coloring book, and we're really, really zoomed in, so I don't know how much you'll actually get to see of it, but I figured I would show it off in case you haven't seen it on my Instagram. But that's kind of how it ended up looking like, with just those colors. It was interesting trying to decide what should be what color. And there were points where it just started kind of hurting my brain, because I wanted to try and make it so that there wasn't too much of one color in one area. I have issues with YA science fiction too sometimes, because it tends to get a little bit tropey. But so far, I'm kind of enjoying how that whole Illuminate file series is going. Yeah, it's every time you make a change to your channel or you decide to go a slightly different direction, there are going to be those people who subscribe to you because of what you were doing originally. So that kind of happened when I started adding more of the coloring into my channel. But I think that BookTube and ColorTube has such a strong crossover that, overall, it hasn't been too much of a huge issue, which I'm very, very thankful for. I know Sam's Nonsense, when she originally decided to diversify and instead of just doing book-related videos, she had a huge drop in subscribers, and she's only just now slowly regaining where she was. And I have to say, I have thoroughly enjoyed this whole jumping into live streaming. I mean, I know I'm not as huge as a lot of the really good color tubists. I mean, the ones with the huge personalities. I enjoy watching them. And they've kind of enabled me, but I mean, such as any booktube or color tube channel, it's pretty much what they are. It's just, hey, look at all these cool stuff. Maybe you should get these cool stuff. And so now that I'm not saving money for a wedding, that may be a little bit dangerous, because I know Anne at A Colorful Life has already enabled me. I picked up some of this at Blix the other day. Normally I don't put anything on my paper before I start coloring with markers, but after I saw her testing this out, I decided that I might have to try this, especially in some of my two-sided coloring books. I'm always extremely paranoid about bleeding through to the other side, and maybe the glaze will help with that and be a new experience on blending my markers. So we'll see how that goes. I don't know when I'm going to test it out or which coloring book I'm going to use it in, but it is definitely something I want to try. So if any of you have ever attempted that, let me know, and let me know how it went. I just got an email about succulent dragons. Why can't I remember her name right now? I was just talking about this on Friday. I became part of the Kickstarter campaign that the artist did. And I just got an email that she got the final coloring books in. What are you doing, phone? Seriously. And I'm really, really excited to get that one in. Let's see if I can find. So by Stephanie La. So let's see if I can make that bigger. Dun, dun, dun. Phoneception. So this is her illustrations. So it's going to be a whole coloring book of these kind of illustration styles. I'm really excited about that one. So I should be getting an email soon letting me know when that is going to be on the way. So you will probably see that on my channel fairly soon. And I know that there is a Camille, she did the pop manga coloring books. She just announced that she's going to have a mermaid one come out, and I pre-ordered that one right away. I don't think that one comes out until later this year though. So it's going to be a little bit of a wait. But those are the two, and then the final one of Kerby's books. Geomorphia, I think is what it's called. I'm excited to get my hands on that one as well. So those are the 3 coloring books that are on my radar right now. I just really like supporting artists that I know. So I follow most of them on Instagram. And so the second I figure out that they've got a coloring book coming out, I'm on it. Yeah, right now it sounds like that's going to be his last coloring book. I don't know if it's just for now or indefinitely, but from the sounds and the rumbles that I've been hearing going on, the experience hasn't been quite what it ought to have been for him. And so I understand him wanting to like back out of it for a little while. So I will treasure my Kerby Rosanes coloring books. And of course, I will always and forever purchase any book that has his artwork on the cover, as per my issue with the Nevermore series. I keep on buying those books. Not a huge fan of the series, but Kerby's work is on the cover, and I can't say no. I also heard that what's her name? Brooke Shaden. She just did a photo shoot for a book cover. I mean, she couldn't release what the book was because of contract reasons. So I have got my eyes open for any new book that comes out that will have her artwork on the cover. I have a whole list of books that I want to purchase because she has done the cover art on those. I have a problem. I know. But it's one of those things where you find an artist that you really, truly enjoy. And so I don't feel bad for supporting them. I was also going to ask, yeah, there's something really strangely addicting to watching people color. It's soothing in such a weird way. And I won't lie, I have almost fallen asleep to watching several other people color before. Not because it was boring, I think it's just because it's so relaxing. Especially when they have one of those voices that's just, it's very calming. Okay, right now I'm just coloring this kind of solid up here. I think I'm going to come back in with one of the darker colored pencils and give it some more depth. But for now, I think it just makes sense to make this all kind of the darker color. Since there's so many butterflies on the top of that. But what does everybody else have planned today? So any good books, any good coloring books that anybody is enjoying right now? It's been on and off raining here all morning, and I'm really, truly enjoying it because it's one of those days where you just want to curl up with a good book and just do nothing. I'm also slowly making my way through Supernatural with my husband because apparently he's never seen it before. And I've seen the first chunk of it, and then life happened and it got a little weird for me and I stopped watching for whatever reason. So I'm going back right now to see if I can make it all the way through to the new stuff with him. And it's always so much fun to watch these shows with someone who's never seen it before because they make all of these weird predictions and you get to sit there and slowly giggle to yourself because you know what's about to happen and how wrong or right they are. I wasn't gonna spoil anything. I wouldn't do that. I was just saying the general concept of watching something with someone who's never seen it before, but you have. It's kind of like giving someone a book recommendation that you know there's certain parts that whoever you recommended it to is going to have a strong reaction to, and you just can't wait until they get to that part of it just so you can see their reaction and then have something to like geek out or fan about. It's fun to share these kind of things. So yeah, probably go back in here. Some of these lighter colors in there. Yeah, I have a friend who, because the character who plays Sam in Supernatural is Dean in Gilmore Girls, that the fact that he's in a show where Dean is still a name that's used and he's not a dean, it messes with your brain a little bit, but luckily I don't have that problem. Well, see, I have watched a good chunk of Gilmore Girls, but I watched Supernatural first. So the fact that the weird name flip happens is not so much an issue for me. But I giggle because some people still have that issue and it throws them off so bad. I am super surprised, though, that Supernatural is still going. Because what, it's been 15 years now? Something ridiculous like that. So there's a good chunk of episodes that I have not seen. Might come back with the darker color there. Add a few lines. Kind of like that. It's definitely changing the look of the skull with these markers. I think I like it. It's kind of creepy. Interested to see what happens when we start laying down some of the colored pencils. I wasn't sure which gray tone I wanted to go with, because I mean there's the cool grays and the warm grays, and I've also got a neutral and a toner gray set. Not sure why I decided to go with the cool gray, but I did. I don't know what I'm going to do with the background of this image. I don't normally do a lot with the background because I've never found an easy way to like do that full coverage. Maybe I'll do the background on this one. I think it's one of those things that I have to wait until I'm there, and then we'll see what I do. Well, I was wondering if I needed to, I mean, even just a solid color, but I don't know. I think it just depends on what I do with the butterflies. I was contemplating adding black to the butterflies to make those colors pop. So maybe you're right. Maybe I don't need to do anything drastic with the background. Move this up so you guys can see what I'm doing. So you guys liking the slightly zoomed in? There are times where I like the fact that they're zoomed in, but sometimes it's nice to have a look at the overall picture as well. And yeah, I can probably back out my camera, or my phone, so you guys can see a full thing when we're done. It's not going to be a very smooth transition. I'm still learning, guys. I'm still learning. I think I want to come back over here and get this done. go. And I'm hoping to get at least partway started with the colored pencils in this stream. I feel like the cooler tones of gray are kind of aging the skull a little bit. It was like buried in a deep, dark place and not bleached by the sun. And that got a little morbid. I'm sorry, guys. Because I think the cool gray would have worked for this as well. Would have totally given it a completely different look. It's one of those decisions I just made on the fly. Yeah, kind of like a pirate skull. Kind of fade that out a little bit, but not too much, because that's kind of a shadow. Okay, it's like, don't think I got color down here. I'm like, yeah. Some of this would still have a little bit of shadow just because of my cats have gotten oddly quiet, and it makes me a little paranoid on what they're possibly plotting right now. Because earlier they were running around like elephants upstairs. Hello. Not entirely sure. Maybe that's just like the back opening in the skull. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe I'll leave that white. Maybe I'll just fill it in with black. Just kind of, it feels odd now that I've colored in most of the skull. That just white right there. But I've got Copic down everywhere. I might go back with the C7 and fill out a little darker in some of this area. I think I just pointed off screen on you. Sorry about that. Well, I think I'm going to go use, because I've already got the color down, I'm going to have to do the lighter colors in the colored pencils. So I'll probably come back with a colored pencil and do highlighter with this beautiful gray 2, and then counterbalance it with some of this. No, actually I think I want to use this one, this gray 5. But I think I want to do some dark areas up here first with a Copic before I even think about starting to lay down some colored pencils. Just real quick. So this is my C7. The setting, a little bit darker. Some of the areas, not too much. I think this is one of those things that I'm gonna have to like slowly build things up. blend it out with the C5 a little bit so that it's not like harsh shadows. Because there's so much going on up here because of these butterflies. I feel like I need to add, and I might even come back with the black colored pencil and then do some like really, really dark shadows. I think I just want to make it a little easier on myself and lay some of this darker gray down first. To come back with the 3. Yeah, I like how that's darkening. Where's my 3? There we go. There's something so nice about an alcohol-based marker and the way it just smoothly goes down. Just the fact that you can go back and you can keep on layering and layering. Yeah. Whoop. As I drop the marker and completely ruin the picture altogether. That would not end well, and I'd probably be sad for a good long while. Some of that in there, and I think I want to add a little bit of the darker in the eye sockets. Give it some depth in there. So it's not like a true black, but it's getting close to it. And pull some of it in the nose cavity as well. I could probably go all day just fine tweaking with these markers. I think I might deepen some of the shadows that the butterflies are adding around the skull, just so you have the difference between the shadows and then the lines in the skull, just to make a little bit of a distinction. See if I can come back up here. Pull that out a little bit. I mean, I don't want to make it too dark. Yeah, I think I'm going to keep the butterflies a lighter color to just have that balance between this very dark, creepy skull and just have this very light and airy butterflies. At least that's my hope. Let's pull some of that back out. I just feel like the more levels of color that you add, the more depth the picture gets. So, I mean, I could leave it where it's at, but I'm a tweaker. And maybe I'm procrastinating on using the colored pencils, but shh, we won't talk about it. No, but really, I will get to the colored pencils. Just wanna add a little bit. Oh, me and colored pencils. I don't know if we have a good agreement yet. I mean, me and Copics, we get along fairly well. Ooh, I didn't know you did this picture, Grace. I'll have to go back and find it to see what you did. I think I need to take this out a little bit. And now I have 4 markers open at the same time. This is not dangerous at all. And this is how I end up with markers all the way up and down my arm. Okay, I will totally look forward to that, Grace. Because now I'm really curious. I'll leave that there. It's a little bit darker, not a whole lot. Where is, there we go. Like, where did I put number 3? pull it up. So, okay. Feel, man. Now that I've started to see how nice it looks with the depth of that darker tone, I almost want to add it in a couple more places. It's addicting working with these markers. I have two sets of colored pencils. I have the Polychromos and the Aerogens. And so I'm going to attempt to use some of the Polychromos on this picture. And I know I said I wasn't going to add any of the darker to anywhere else on this skull, but I'm a horrible person and sometimes I lie and change my mind, and that is what is happening right now. Some of these aren't deep enough, but some of these, just the way they come into these grooves, it's nice to have some of that darker color in there. I'm trying not to go too crazy, and I'll probably pull back on some of them a little bit, but I feel like some of these are really deep grooves. Hi, Tara. They just need to be pulled out a little bit. I'll just smooth them out. And I promise I will put the markers down. And pull out the colored pencils. And then we will see what happens. Yeah. Kind of like that. Probably go and tweak this all day. Put it down, April. Put it down. Okay. Putting the markers down. Oops. Get all the caps back on. Nope. Maybe. Oh dear. Might have to clean out the inside of this marker cap, because there we go. Okay, so I want to take, these are the 4 Polychromos that I have pulled that I want to use on various places for this skull. So I want to use the darker tones and the shadows, and then I want to bring back some of the lightness in some of this area. So we're about to see what happens. I think I'm going to pull back some of this. So that I'm wondering if I need to pull out a white. Hold on a second. Let me pull a white. Or a cream. There we go. Got the nice white there. Because I think my light gray is the same color as my marker light gray. Okay, I think I'm done bumping the camera. Okay. There we go. It's very, very subtle, but it's there. So there's some of these edges that I think would be a little bit brighter. And I'll probably also come through at some point with maybe a Posca or a gel pen. Maybe add some highlights. But I mean, I don't want too harsh of a white because then it's going to feel out of place. And I don't know how well this is showing up on camera, but I will definitely get a picture of it afterwards. So that you can see more of the depths of the highlights and things. So I'm kind of working with the shading style that I've already got into place, and then just kind of going over the lighter areas with this white because it's very sheer, but I think it is giving it enough might want to do those a little darker, enough of a transition, and it's smoothing out some of the areas as well, which I like. Not going to be a whole lot of highlight areas down here, but might as well pull some. Just a little bit. And as you can tell, I am not a light-handed person, which is another reason I'm a little bit paranoid about colored pencils. Because a lot of the styles that I like of people who color with colored pencils, it's these light layers over and over and over. I don't know how much patience I would have for that. Okay, so now I'm going to go and strengthen some of these shadows, not by much, but just kind of subtly get in there. So it'll probably darken some of these a little bit, because I feel since it's kind of in the back area that these would be a little darker than they are at present. Yeah, that's what I kind of wondered. It's one of those things that you have to slowly get a feel for. Kind of a little bit here. And you do have more detailed control with colored pencils that I couldn't get with the markers. Which is nice. I am really liking how this is looking. I think it's just adding another depth to the transition of colors that I think is turning out nicely. So I might have to do an experiment with this more in the future, because it gives you another layer of colors that you can work with, which is nice. Oops, I'm coloring off screen. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah. See, now I've seen a whole bunch of people do that because markers add a quick base coat and then you can just move on to colored pencils, which is why I wanted to try that here. Of course, I got a little too excited about using the markers and didn't want to put them down. But I think this is turning out pretty good. Kind of adding a little something. Now I definitely can't go back with my markers now that I've laid colored pencils down everywhere because I do not want to ruin my Copics. And Polychromos are oil-based colored pencils. So at this point, if there's anything I want to change or build up, I'm going to have to do it with colored pencils. But I don't think there's a whole lot more I want to do to this right now. I just keep coming back to these teeth. I don't know why. Okay. So that is the skull. I think that is all that I want to do with it right now. I kind of like the way it looks. What do you guys think? I don't want to mess and tweak with it too much. I mean, I might come back to it and layer and change it a little more after I've got the butterflies figured out a bit more. But I think for now, this is where I want to end it. I like it. I like it a lot. Thank you guys for joining me with this interesting experiment. I think it turned out well, and I heart your beautiful faces. I hope to see you guys all